Alright, we are going to do the next graph where we are going to sketch it based on the polynomial that's given to us, and I'm going to zoom in so we can see a little more clearly, and here we go. So it says sketch this graph, and this is the information that's given to me. This is the polynomial that's given to me. Remember the different steps. So step number 1, we've talked about this, is to find the n behavior. Step number 1 is to find the n behavior. For us to find the n behavior, we need to know the degree. So what degree is this going to be? It's going to be, remember you add up all the x's. So this is x squared. So 2 plus 4, 6, 6 plus 3, 9. So this is the 9th degree. But it's, here we go. But it's just knowing the degree is not enough. We also have to know the leading coefficient. I do see a negative sign in the front. I do see a negative sign in the front. So this helps us to find out where I'm going to start graphing. But basically, 9th degree basically means it's going to behave like a linear graph and with a negative slope. So it will basically start in this quadrant, and I don't know what will happen here, and it will end in this quadrant. It's like coming down the hill, right? Negative slope. It's in this direction. Okay, so what else do you need to be able to graph? I know where to start. I'm going to start in this quadrant and do something. But the second thing I need to know is what are my x-intercepts. Okay, not only do you need to know the x-intercepts, you need to know the behavior, behavior at each x-intercept. Right, we talked about this. So let's see what our x-intercepts are. So by looking at the polynomial, my x-intercepts are from x plus 1 I get negative 1, 0, because intercepts always the y, x-intercept y is 0, and then I have to talk about the behavior. Is it touching it or is it crossing it? So because this is square, it behaves like a quadratic which touches it, right? Touches the x-axis basically. So it's going to be touch. We're going to write T for touch and C for cross. Okay, next one. Positive 1, right? From negative 1 I get positive 1, 0, and this is to the power of 4, again even like a quadratic, so it's again going to touch. And the last one is negative 4, 0, and this is cubic, so cubic is like a linear, right? And it will cross the x-axis. It will cross the x-axis. Everybody clear? So we are interested in state if it is crossing it or touching it at each x-intercept, and we've talked about this. Okay, so basically it's going to be at negative 1 is here. At negative 1 is going to touch it. At 1 also it's going to touch it, and then at negative 4, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4 is going to cross it. Okay. So not only do I need to know my x-intercepts and behavior, the last thing I need to know before I start graphing is the y-intercept. How do you find the y-intercept? You set x to be 0. So you look at your equation. There is a negative in the front. 0 plus 1 is 1 square. There's no x, right? You set x to be 0. Negative 1 to the 4th power. 0 plus 4 is 4 to the cube. Go ahead and do your math, and you should get negative 64. 4 cubed is 64, and then there's a negative in the front, so that becomes negative 64. So my y-intercept is, remember x is 0 and it is negative 64. You always make sure you give me the y-intercept with a 0 comma, whatever the y value is. So negative 64 goes way below, but we're not concerned about that. It's somewhere on my y-axis. It's somewhere on the y-axis. Okay, so now I have enough information to start graphing. So I know that and one more thing, just one quick thing. I see that negative 4, which is going to be a cross, it's actually cubic. So this is actually crossing it, but there is a slight, it's cubic. So there will be a slight inflection. So make sure that this place there is a slight, this one. So I start in this quadrant. I do cross it, but cross it with a little bit of inflection. Okay, and from here where do you go? You basically go to the next x-intercept, and then you touch it. At the next x-intercept you are going to touch it. Then from here, where do you go? You want to go to the next x-intercept, but you are going to cross the y-axis. So you're going to cross the y-axis on the negative part, which is correct. It looks correct. And then it goes to the next x-intercept. At the next intercept, it touches it. So that means it will touch it and turn around, touch, and then end in this quadrant, which is correct. It looks correct because it has to start here, end here. These are your x-intercepts, and this is your y-intercept. These are the things that you want to take care of. Right? Everybody okay? Everybody can do this graphing? Yeah, sorry, some of it went negative 64. Okay. And then if you couldn't see the y-intercept, this is the work for the y-intercept. The negative 64. And then let's quickly write the limit. As x is going towards positive infinity, my graph is falling down and going towards negative infinity. Y is going towards negative infinity. As x is going towards negative infinity, this is my negative infinity, what's happening to the graph? The graph is going up to positive infinity. Maximum number of turns, 9th degree, right? It's 9th degree, so it's going to be 9 minus 1 equals to 8. So this is your second graph.